In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to connect more than one RGB Critter BT to the on a Melon app and how to create a group so that you can control more than one RGB Critter BT at the same time. To do this, we're going to go to the Devices page. On this page, you can see that there's an instruction to hold the rocket button on your RGB Critter BT for 3 seconds to pair. So I'm going to pair the first RGB Critter BT by turning it on using the power button here. And then we have the rocket button and the arrow button. Right now it's not connected to the app, so you can cycle through the different modes that are stored on this RGB Critter BT using the arrow and the rocket button to go up and down. So I'm going to hold the rocket button and you will see it appear on the app. You see it's pulsing green now to indicate that it's available to pair. And I'm going to select this RGB Critter BT. I'm going to accept that. And once I paired this to the app, you can see that I have a notification here saying that there's a new firmware version available. If you see this notification, make sure to follow this link, press the update button, and then follow the instructions on this page to update your RGB Critter BT's firmware. If you don't have the most up-to-date firmware on your RGB Critter BT, it will not work properly with the new on a Melon app. Additionally, if you're trying to pair more than one RGB Critter BT at the same time, each RGB Critter BT needs to be connected to the app, and each RGB Critter BT needs to have its firmware updated before you can create a group with all of your RGB Critter BTs. If you don't do this, there will be issues where they're not working properly. So please make sure to do this. So now that the firmware is updated on this RGB Critter BT, it disconnects from the app, and once again, it's displaying these different modes that are stored on the RGB Critter BT. I'm going to X out of this. So now we're not connected. This is no longer green. This little toggle button, it should be green if they're connected. So I'm going to reconnect the RGB Critter BT to the app by holding that rocket button again. And now it pulses blue because it was previously connected to the app. And now that I press that toggle button and it turned green, it's showing a rainbow fade mode here. And that indicates that your RGB Critter BT is connected to the app. So now I can control it from the app. I can play different modes. And you can see which mode is playing there. I'm going to go back to the Devices page. If you don't know if your RGB Critter BT has the latest firmware update, you can press these 3 white dots to the right of your device name. And at the bottom here, you can see there's an option for a firmware update. I'm going to press that. And here on this page, it says your RGB Critter BT is up to date. So you don't have to do a firmware update. You have the latest firmware installed. Okay, now that we have one RGB Critter BT connected, let's connect that second one. I'm going to press the power button to turn it on. And it's currently not connected, so I can cycle through the different modes that are stored on the RGB Critter BT. And we're going to connect it to the app using that same sequence where we hold the rocket button for 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, and now you see the green pulse. This device is called Hey. You can change the device name once it's connected to the app by pressing these same 3 white dots. You'll see rename option there. I'm not going to do that for you now. So you can see now that when the second RGB Critter BT was connected, the first one turned off. And that's because we can only control one RGB Critter BT at the same time when we're on this Devices page. If we want to control more than one RGB Critter BT at the same time, we have to go into the Group section. So why don't we go ahead and do that now? So I'm going to go to the Groups. I'm going to create a new group. I'm going to select my 2 connected devices, and I'm going to name it. Okay, so this is my group. And so now I still have this one connected RGB Critter BT. This one is turned off. Let's turn it back on. And then I'm going to turn on my group. And then let's reconnect this device to the app once more. Okay, so now you saw there was a sequence where they started doing a rainbow fade, and then they both ended up on the color white. These 2 devices are connected to the app, and this is where you can turn them on and off. I can press play and you will see the different modes playing on these devices here. Okay, so let's go back here. And so we have our two connected devices and they're in this group. You can see them here. If I wanted to update the group, I could do that there. Why don't we update it by adding a third device to that group? And I'm going to bring this one in and follow that same sequence. So it's showing red because it hasn't been connected to an app before. So I'm gonna add that to the group. Okay, and this one also needs a firmware update, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll fast forward through this so you don't have to watch it again. Okay, so now we have 3 devices that are ready to be put into a group. And I'm going to update my group now and add this third device. And now it's trying to turn on the group, so I'm going to pair all of these devices. Here we go. I'm holding this middle button to reconnect them to the app. So you can see this timed out. There was a warning message. I X'd out of it, but we can change that by just pressing that button again. And you can see all 3 RGB Critter BTs are now showing the color white. They're connected in this group. Okay, and now you can see all 3 RGB Critter BTs are connected in this group. I'm gonna just save it. And now let's go back to the playlist page. You can see my group is connected. I can control them all by pressing that power button. I can play different modes here. All 3 connected RGB Critter BTs will show the same mode. So you can repeat this process for up to 10 different RGB Critter BTs. I could have up to 10 in this list. Okay, so you can also turn all of them on and off by pressing the power button on any of the RGB Critter BTs. That's kind of a cool feature. Thank you for watching, and please let us know if you have any questions in the comments.